All right, let's get started. My name is Tanya Nichols, the Member Services Director at Meet the Need, and today's webinar is about best practices for effective outreach, and we're going to actually dive into some best practice examples of kind of power users of Meet the Need and how they're using it, and to give you ideas as organizations of how you could be using Meet the Need in maybe new ways or additional ways, or even deeper than what you may currently be using Meet the Need for. But before we get started, let's open in prayer. Always a good way to start and give people time to join the webinar, and then we'll dive into our topic. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, what another glorious day it is. And Lord, we thank you for each and every opportunity that you put before us to be the love of your Son, Jesus. And Lord, that's what Meet the Need is all about, is providing opportunities for people to share your hope and your love with others, Lord, so that we can love others just as you have commanded us to do, which hopefully is an extension of our love for you, dear Lord. Lord, I ask that you be with each and every ministry leader on this call and those that may be watching in the future, that you continue to provide for them each and every need that they have to fulfill the roles that you have put them in, Lord, to glorify you. Lord, be with us today. Let my words glorify you and lead others closer to you, and equip leaders, Lord, equip the saints so that the work of your kingdom can be done, as you've called each and every one of us to do. It's in your Son, Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, today's topic is best practices for effective outreach, and let's go over a few kind of house rules before we get started. I do want you to ask questions and to make comments, so definitely as I'm going through the material, you can type questions in the chat section of your GoToMeeting dashboard, and I will see those comments on another screen that I have, and I can answer those as we move throughout the webinar. And at the end, I'll also have a time for questions and answers. In case you want to save something till then, you can as well. But feel free to make comments and chat as we go along. If you are watching the webinar or in the future or even live right now, and you have not registered your organization yet with Meet the Need, feel free to do so at any time. It's a quick process. You can do it in less than 10 minutes. If you go to meettheneed.org, click Get Software, and there's a quick start button, and you'll go through probably like 5 different screens, and then you'll have access to your full Meet the Need dashboard with all the modules of Meet the Need, including volunteer and goods management, events, shared case management, and international missions. So take advantage of that. There's training video tutorials along the way and even after you access your dashboard, so that you can start right away posting needs, sharing needs on your website, and even managing reports of commitments that have been made. So everything is right there online for you to do. Today, I'm going to review the free holiday outreach resources that we have. Even though we're already into December and the holidays are starting to wrap up when it comes to outreach, there's still a lot going on, so I want to make sure that all of our organizations know about the holiday outreach resources that we have. But we're going to dive deep into these topics related to best practices, having to do with posting needs, creating links, website integration, sharing with your partners, getting your needs met as an organization, mobilizing your members to serve as a church or your volunteers to serve as an organization, and then of course question and answer. Our next webinar is January, I think that's a mistake. It's January 9th. Let me just make sure. January 9th, which is a Tuesday. Let me look. Yep, January 9th is a Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and the topic will be maintaining an external focus throughout the year. So we'll go from, kind of the holiday events and the hustle and bustle of getting through those events to, okay, now how do we turn those events or utilize those events as a springboard to mobilize our members or our volunteers throughout the year to meet needs of your organization, so that it creates that outward external focus all year round and not just for the holidays, which is really what Meet the Needs all about. So you definitely want to tune in for that next webinar on January 9th. That's a correction on that screen, at 1 p.m. Eastern, and we'll send out an invitation just like we normally do. All right, a few of the free resources that we have for the holidays. There are several ebooks that we've created, and you can download those from this presentation. You can go directly to those links. I'll also include them in the email when I follow up with the recording of this webinar. But one of them is 5 ways to make holiday outreach more efficient and effective. And we have one ebook for churches, one ebook for nonprofits, and then we also have a webinar recording from September. I actually have one from September 2017, where you can go in and watch, a 45-minute to an hour webinar just on how to make holiday outreach more efficient and effective. We also have the Serving Families During the Holidays free ebooks, which include 5 pitfalls of shared case management and collaborative family scheduling. And we do have a webinar from October that you can access to dive deeper into those resources. All right, before we begin talking about the best practices and looking at examples of other organizations using Meet the Need, some of the best practices come into play on your dashboard and as an administrator of Meet the Need. So I wanted to go over just a few best practices for utilizing your dashboard to accomplish the outreach goals that you have for your organization. There are 4 modules on your Meet the Need dashboard: volunteer and goods management, shared case management, events, and international missions. Sometimes it gets confusing to know, okay, well, which module do I use for which kind of need? What need goes in which module? This is a great screen to come back to if you kind of find yourself asking that question as you go to your dashboard. But some general rules are, you'll use volunteer and goods management, that purple section of the dashboard, if you're posting needs for your organization as a whole, if they're ongoing needs, and if you want to post needs in multiple campuses, maybe you're a church with multiple locations and you want to post needs for different campuses and advertise those needs at those campuses, then you'll want to use the volunteer and goods management module. Events are the green section. You want to use an event if your needs that you're going to be posting have a beginning and an end date. That's typically kind of our definition of an event. They're not ongoing, like every Tuesday or, just a one-time kind of need that you need for your organization, but it's an event that's happening on a specific day or days. If you want to put in your own logo for your event or create your own categories or have a separate dashboard for your event to give to a team leader that might be managing those needs and volunteers, then you want to use the event module. So that's kind of the difference. That's the biggest question I get, is how do I know whether to use the purple module or the green module? And it comes down to basically what's in those 2 boxes and how you answer those questions as to which module you should use. International missions, of course, that's our module. It's really our most underutilized module, but it's the one that you can use to post needs for missions trips, to empower your missionaries around the world to post needs for your members on your church website to see. But international missions is a great module. Shared case management, now that's a very in-depth module. If you're a church, you might call this benevolence. If you're a nonprofit, you might call it case management, but it's where you can go in and look and see, okay, a family standing before me and has a need. You can go look and see, have they received help at other organizations previously? When did they receive help? What did they receive? How much? Any public notes you're able to see. And you can post needs for that family to show on your website or to share a link with, qualified volunteers. And you can schedule that family to come back in the future to receive help. So if you are wanting to track families that you are helping, then the shared case management module is the module to use. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to put those in the chat section and I'll answer those as I pause throughout the webinar. All right, here's a chart. Not only, do we have the picture on the previous page, but here's a chart that might help you decide whether or not you should use the volunteer management module or the events module. It asks you about, does it have a beginning and end date? Do you want to create your own categories? Do you want to utilize group signups? Do you want to have a separate dashboard? Do you want to utilize volunteer check-in, and how do you want to do that? These are just questions that will help you determine whether you should use that one module or the other. And it's very quick and easy for you to be able to do that. Best practices for posting needs. This is a kind of a cheat sheet that we've created. It's located actually on your dashboard. If you go to your dashboard, the help menu, there is a section called local outreach tips, and this is one of the documents there. And this is great for if you're training new volunteers and they're posting needs and you want to kind of give them guidance of what to put in each part of that post a need form. This document breaks out per field some best practices in being able to post needs. And it kind of gives you the, don't forget on this field this, and don't forget on that field that. But some things are, when you're posting the quantity of needs, make a need realistic and achievable. For example, if you're asking for 100 blankets, or you might want to ask for 100 blankets rather than 1,000 blankets. And then once your 100 are met, put another 100 on there. And the reason for that being is that it just, if you have 1,000 out there, an individual volunteer is going to go, well, I have 2 blankets to give, but that's not going to make a dent in the 1,000 that they need, and they may not give. But if they see 100 blankets, two could make a difference. You only need so many people to give a few blankets to make 100. And so making those quantities achievable really helps in the motivation of volunteers to be giving and their time and even of items. Don't forget about this resources and materials box. The description box is where you put your need description of what the volunteer will be doing. The resources and materials box is more for any training that they need to do before they go and serve, any maybe clothing they need to wear the day of, maybe tools they need to bring with them. Anything the volunteer needs to do to prepare to serve goes in that resources and materials. And both the description and the resources and materials show up in the confirmation email as well as the reminder emails that go to volunteers through Meet the Need. So you can be sure that they see that, in multiple times as those emails go out. But you can look at some of the best practices on this document. That's part of the document's cut off on my print screen, but it's all available from your dashboard on the help menu, local outreach tips. Best practices for posting needs. Here's a few items from that document. I'll just kind of highlight. Is choose the best category or subcategory. Meet the Need has, hundreds of categories and subcategories of need types. For instance, if your need relates to food, you can say, I'm posting a need for food, and maybe people are going to be serving food. Or maybe they're going to be preparing food or delivering food or sorting food. There's a lot of different subcategories under food, but choose the best category and subcategory because that's the way that if volunteers choose to sort their search page by the type of need they're looking for, then that's when the category and subcategory comes into play, and your needs will show up, in the best place. You want to keep your description simple and to the point. Don't restate what your organization does in the need description, because that's already in your organizational biography. So you don't need to put that in the need description itself. So keep it simple to the need and what they're going to be doing. All right, you could also use hyperlinks when you're posting a need in the need description and in the resources and materials. If you type the characters HTTP / www, and then the rest of the URL, then Meet the Need will automatically change that URL to say click here on the search page. So the volunteer will see the words click here. You can also use things like bold and underline with HTML coding. If you're familiar at all with that, you can use that in your need description to make your words in your description stand out more. And then, of course, if you're an organization and you're posting needs, and if you post the need as public, it's going to show in more places than if you post it as semi-private. It'll only be on your website. So if you want more exposure to more organizations that are using Meet the Need in your area, then post those needs as public. So just a few pointers from that document that's in your help menu. Best practices for posting needs, some more things that I wanted to point out, some newer features on that post a need page. We have added a title to your need. So you can title your need, draw more attention to it based on, maybe 2 or 3 words of what the volunteer will be doing. Just as a quick glance, as they're going down through the search page, they can see, the main keywords for the title of the need, like here, client interviewer, foster parent, ministry administration clerical. Those titles show up in bold where the need description shows up down below them. Also, we've added, well, open-ended's been there for a while, but the recurring need feature, we added a way, you could always do like every Tuesday or once a month, but now what we did is we added a monthly advanced option where you can say, we're going to be serving every second Saturday or every fourth Wednesday. And so we added that occurrence option when you're posting a recurring need. Links for your website. Of course, posting needs is great. They'll show in the general Meet the Need platform, and they'll show on other organizations' websites, but you need to be showing those needs on your website or taking the link that you can create and sharing it even in social media or in emails to share your needs with the volunteers that you already have or with the volunteers that you're trying to get. So when you registered with Meet the Need, URLs were emailed to you, and you can use those URLs to share needs. And you can copy and paste those into a hyperlink or a button image on your website, like the volunteer here, and make the link a hyperlink to a button that you've put on your site, or just simply take that URL and put it into a post on social media, or include it in a link, in an email that you're sending out. And as this says, voila, the needs you posted through your Meet the Need dashboard will then be shared with others to see. So, it's not a magic box where you go or Meet the Need's not a magic box where you go and post needs and then they're magically going to be met. You've actually got to go out as an organization and advertise those needs or promote those needs or motivate people to go look at those needs to be met through, the network that you've already created and the network that you've shared Meet the Need with. Links for your website to show needs. There's several different places you can go to get links, but one of them is under the settings part of your dashboard, create and manage my links, and you can create links from scratch. Some were emailed to you when you registered, but you can go and create more right here. If you go to create new link and pick what kind of link you want, whether that be, if you want to create a link to show some of your partner needs or family needs or local community needs in general, you can choose that, and then down below is the URL that you would copy and paste to put on your website or in social media or through an email. If you have any questions, feel free to put those in the chat section and I will get to those as I pause. All right, best practices for your website. So, you've registered with Meet the Need, you've posted some needs, you've gotten a link to share those needs. Now you need to put them somewhere on your website, hopefully. And the best practices for your website are these few things that we have here. And that's, do make sure that you have an access place for serving from your homepage, like having a serve button where they don't have to go 5 pages deep to find where needs are. Having that right there on your homepage is always a best practice. Don't reference meet the need necessarily. You wouldn't say meet the need right here where it says serve. Instead, use a generic term like serve, volunteer, see needs, serve now. Whatever your initiative is, use the words that relate to your organization or your initiative. And because really your individual volunteers or members don't ever need to know about Meet the Need. Really, it's only administrators of organizations that know about Meet the Need, because we make it look like your website, or you make it look like your website, and the end user never has to know about Meet the Need. And we do that on purpose to really put the church in the center of all that we do, to put the nonprofits in the center of all that we do, so that as volunteers, as families in need, find needs or get connected to organizations to you through Meet the Need, then they're connected to organizations that are local, that they can go and talk with someone, and hopefully, the hope of Christ would be shared in that process. Do talk about your serving initiative and build emotion for volunteers or members to want to serve. Give a description of what it is. What does serving mean at your church? What does serving others mean at your organization? And build that emotion, and then give them a button to look for needs. One thing you don't want to do is don't ask individuals to register and then to register first to have to be able to search for needs. Instead, let them start searching needs right away, like these buttons at the bottom. And in the midst of adopting a need or committing to a need, then that's when they would register to serve. We follow the best practices of like Amazon.com. If you go on Amazon.com and you're shopping to buy something, you're not going to go register with Amazon first, not knowing what you're going to buy, or even if you're going to want to buy. But instead, you're going to wait until you're ready to buy something. And in the midst of purchasing, then that's when you register and put in your credit card info and all that kind of stuff. And we follow the same practices. As a volunteer, let them go and look and search and see what all there is to do. And then in the midst of being ready to commit to a specific need, then at that time they register and put in their contact information and a login and password, and create an account. So we follow, the same practices. Instead of shopping to buy things, volunteers are shopping to give themselves away. All right, a few website examples. There's never a better way to show you, how to put, or how you can put Meet the Need on your website, than to show you some examples of real ministries and real churches that are using Meet the Need. Here's a ministry example. They have Get Involved, Volunteer. As you see, it's on their homepage. It is under the Get Involved tab, which does put you one kind of half layer deeper, but it's very clear. Get involved, volunteer, and then this ministry is able to show just their needs that they've posted on their website. We do that on purpose. We realize that ministries, nonprofits, they may be a homeless shelter and they want to show their needs, but they don't want to show the homeless shelter down the street or across town the needs. They only want to show their own. And we get that. And so any need that a nonprofit any link that a nonprofit would create from their Meet the Need dashboard would only include their own needs. And so we've accommodated for that. Where a church is different. A church wants to show multiple organizations' needs and encourage their members to serve in multiple ways. But a nonprofit would show only their own needs. Another ministry example or nonprofit example. Here's one. Here's a button, Volunteer Here. And when you click, you'll see the needs of just Heart for Winter Haven. That's who this is in the area. Here's another one, a ministry example, Search All Needs, or search just community impact needs. So they they're kind of a hybrid between a nonprofit and a city reaching organization. So they said, you know what, we want to show all the needs in the community, but we also want to highlight our own organization's needs, where you can do that. Any organization can do that and meet the need. So they have two buttons, search all and search just their needs. Here's a church example. They have serve locally, nationally, internationally, or serve at the church itself, like for services on Sunday. And all of that all of their serving activities run through Meet the Need. So they've separated it out by the type of, or actually kind of like the geography of where they'll be serving. Here's another church example where you can have a Serve Now button, and that's an all community needs button. See everything in the area near our church, like within 25 or 50 miles of the church. Or you could have buttons for each one of your partnerships, and as each one of those partners join Meet the Need, you can have a button to show the needs that each one of them have posted through their own Meet the Need account, which is great. So you have two focuses, serve in the community or serve with one of our partners. Here's a church example that does it by initiative or people groups that they're helping. So they have focuses on K through 12 schools, family support, prison reentry, health and hospitality, and each one of these, they have a landing page where you can click. So like K through 12 schools, they have a list of organizations that that work with those schools, and then a list of schools down at the bottom, and each of these serve buttons is a team or an organization in Meet the Need, and the volunteer can easily click serve and see the needs for those organizations or schools. And at any time, if you have kind of a setup that you're thinking in your mind one way, hey, we're thinking of doing this, how should I use my Meet the Need account to set that up to accomplish that? That's what our member service reps are here to help you with. We've all worked at churches or nonprofits, and we understand where you're coming from and what you're trying to do, and even the challenges that you have internally sometimes. And we're here to help you know how to best set up, the platform, the Meet the Need platform, to accomplish what you want to accomplish. So don't hesitate to contact us by phone or by email, and have a conversation with us to help you set up your, the different outreach activities that you have. Here's some more website examples. This is a city reaching organization, Serve OK, out in Oklahoma. They have a serve button for their search needs, for their needs in the community. They have a directory button where we did a customized directory for them so that families in need could search for organizations and services that they offer in their network. And they have a partners button that allows the churches and ministries in their area to go on their website and read more about Meet the Need, and even to register with Meet the Need right there from Serve OK's website. So as a city reaching organization, it's great to have all three buttons on your website, and Meet the Need actually kind of powers all of those. Here's another city reaching organization, Advancing Vibrant Communities. They have those same three buttons, but they have them, portrayed a little differently. They're on tabs because that's how their website is set up, and every website setup is different. They couldn't put necessarily like those three buttons like Serve OK had, but they've done it within the confines of their church or their website template. But they have Meet a Need Today, which is their search page to see needs in the area. They have Sign Up a Church or Organization, which is actually a direct link for them to register with Meet the Need. And then they have Church and Ministry Partners Online, where they don't have a customized directory, but they use the free Meet the Need directory so that families can find organizations in their area that are offering services that may be able to help them, like with food or mentoring or tutoring, but that's for the families in need, or even other church administrators and ministry administrators to find organizations in the area that are online. Sharing with partners. This is a very important part of Meet the Need. As Meet the Need doesn't really do any advertising. I mean, the most we do is maybe through Facebook and social media, blogging. to kind of share what we do. But we really rely on the churches, nonprofits, and city reaching organizations across the nation to share Meet the Need with your network, to continue having it to grow and to make it more efficient and more effective in your city, for organizations to be working together and more needs to be met. So we make it easy for you. If you go to your dashboard and the share button, there's a plethora of resources there to help you share Meet the Need with other churches or with other nonprofits. We have a flyer that you can print or download and give to organizations. We have a sample email, a PowerPoint presentation. I love this document. We have all the frequently asked questions of a church and of a ministry or a nonprofit, all the questions they've ever asked us about Meet the Need before they start using it, with answers to those. We have a brochure, a full color brochure for churches and nonprofits. We have testimonials all typed up and ready to go, so you can share with them about how other organizations, have benefited from using Meet the Need. And then we have their next steps outlined out, and 3 or 4 steps for what they need to do to get started. So we have all the resources you need to share, and hopefully that's easy for you. And if you have any questions, or maybe you want to co-host a webinar with Meet the Need where we share with your network about the benefits, we can do that as well, and we do that pretty frequently. Reaching your city. This is a document that we use for city reaching organizations, but really you may not have a city reaching organization in your city, or they may not be a part of Meet the Need, but even if you're a church or a nonprofit, you can use these resources. If you go to meettheneed.org/partner, we have all the resources for churches, all the resources for nonprofits that I just talked about on the previous screen. And this is the viral rollout process for a city. We recommend best practice is to start with the larger, more influential churches in your city and share Meet the Need with them and the vision and capabilities of it. And then they're going to go and share with their nonprofit partners, like the homeless shelters and the food banks. And then those nonprofit partners are going to go, wait a minute, not only will my needs show on that one church that told me about it, but if I share with more churches, then my needs will show on more church websites. So then they share with more churches, and then it continues on and becomes that viral rollout process. And within 3 to 4 months, you can have all your ministry partners online and posting needs, and as a church have your members go and search those needs and commit to those, and really create a lifestyle of serving throughout the year and not just waiting for the next event. All right, best practices for getting your needs met. Churches and ministries or nonprofits are always posting needs, and some things to consider or ask yourself is, are all your church partners, if you're a ministry, showing your needs on their website? You may not realize this, but as a church, they can go in and say, you know what, I want to show homeless shelter A's needs, but not homeless shelter B. And if you're homeless shelter B and your needs aren't showing on one of your church partners' sites, then you need to give them a call and say, hey, I see my needs aren't showing. Can you make them visible? Now, by default, everyone's visible. So the church would have to go in and purposefully hide or not make visible your organization's needs. But you want to make sure that all your church partners are showing your needs on their website. You want to make sure that Meet the Need is on your homepage. Not that it says the words Meet the Need, but that your needs are showing on your organization's website. You want to make sure that all your volunteers are approved members, because each approved member or volunteer, that's in your dashboard, every time you post a need as an organization, those approved members get an email letting them know that new needs have been posted. Click here and check them out. So you want to make sure that all your members on your dashboard are approved members. And that's really easy to do. You just go in under My Account, Pending Members, and move them to the Approved Members page. And you want to ask yourself, are you driving people to your website? As people are calling in and saying, hey, I want to volunteer, what can I do? Are you saying, oh, we have a great place on our website for you to see all of our updated needs in real time. Go and take a look at all the needs, read about them, see what best fits your skills, your availability, your location, where you're located, and drive them to your website to be able to see the needs that you've posted. And another thing to ask yourself is, how often are you posting needs? You don't want to post every day, because then emails will go out every day to people, and then they're going to get frustrated at the number of emails they're getting, and they'll opt out of those emails. But, once every couple of weeks, posting to let them know that, hey, there's still needs at our organization, or there's new needs at our organization, and keeping it in the front of their mind that, your organization has needs and that they've expressed an interest in helping with those, then those emails go out to them. So how often you're posting needs can determine, how quickly your needs get met as well. These best practices for getting your needs met, and also more of these, are located on your dashboard under the Help button, Local Outreach Tips. So check out that document. Best practices for mobilizing your members to serve. This is more for churches. As a church, you want to make sure that you have advocacy from your senior pastor. Maybe that's a sermon that he does from main stage, encouraging people to go and serve and be the love and hope of Christ. And also just his blessing from above, from the top leadership down, that this is the platform that the organization is using to advertise needs to members. And then, of course, you want to include serving in your discipleship process. I can't express this enough, that, whatever it is, if it's a membership class, or how to read your Bible, or, vision about your church, you want to include information about how they can go to your website and see needs and shop for needs and shop for ways to give themselves away 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So including that in your discipleship process, so as new people are coming in, they know where to find needs on your website. Organizing a recurring serve day as a kickoff is great. Right now, the holidays, there's a ton of events going on. We hope that you would use those as a diving board or a kickoff for needs of partners that you work with throughout the year. And so, doing a serve day or a holiday event is a great way to do that. Sharing testimonies. You may not realize this, but in Meet the Need, as volunteers are completing their need and saying, yes, I showed up and I served, and putting in the number of hours that they served, there's also a place for them to put in a testimonial of how their serving time went. Well, as an admin, you can go in and export those comments from your approved members report. And you can use those comments however you see fit. Maybe it's doing a video and highlighting how people are benefiting from serving as a volunteer. Maybe it's sharing a testimonial here or there, or just putting them in in social media and sharing how people are benefiting from serving. But take those testimonials and use them to encourage and motivate other members to serve. Mobilizing small groups is another way to really get people involved in serving, and letting those small group leaders know that there are needs on the website and encouraging them to serve, maybe even challenging them to serve once a month or once a quarter out in the community. Maybe have some healthy competition within the church of which small groups are serving the most. Or most frequently, and you can track all of that through your Meet the Need dashboard. You could also hold an internal needs campaign. This is a great way if you want to start using kind of the family module of Meet the Need, the case management module, you can maybe during a service have everyone stand up that has a need, especially if it's maybe after an event, like we're in Florida, like maybe after we've had a hurricane. People can stand up and go to the back and fill out cards for needs that they have. Then have everyone sit down during a prayer time, have everyone who might be able to meet a need, if they didn't fill out a card, go back to the back and grab cards to meet needs. But then what's going to happen afterwards is there's going to be a lot of cards left over that were never met, and you can post those needs anonymously, of course, but connecting them to the family in a way behind the scenes through a case number or something. But you can post those needs for other members to adopt those needs, and connect and help families even within your church. Great way to kind of get the ball rolling. You can host a missions fair and have all of your partners come and share about their organization in the lobby, and sign up people and have people register right there in the lobby for a Meet the Need account and to get updates from those organizations. So as needs are being posted, your members will be getting emails that needs have been posted, and they can hopefully meet those. Get connected socially on social media, Facebook, Twitter. You can go in and share needs, specific needs through links, or a group of needs through links, but encouraging your members to serve and meet needs in the community through social media is a great way to do that. If you have church-wide emails that you send out, maybe you send something once a week that says, hey, all this stuff is going on in our church. Well, one of the things you can include in that email is a link to all the needs in the community, or all the needs that your organization has posted, and include those in those organization-wide emails. Bulletin announcements for a church. Obviously, this is always a way to advertise to your members. Having a verbiage in that bulletin that says, we at whatever church, our mission is to serve the city. Don't forget that you can go to our website under the serve button or community button or local outreach button or whatever that might be, and see needs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and commit to those needs. Putting that in the bulletin announcement so people see that every week is also another way to mobilize members to serve. So there's, 10 different ways to mobilize your members to serve. You don't want to do just one of these. You want to do a handful of these all the time, because people need to hear things multiple times before they actually act and do. And so if you're doing multiple ones of these best practices, then it will encourage your members to serve. And these outreach tips plus more are also on your dashboard in the help menu under local outreach tips. Are there any questions or specific questions that I could answer? If so, feel free to put those in the chat part of your GoToMeeting dashboard, and I can answer those. And of course, I'm always available even offline if you have questions, and I can help answer those. But today's webinar was mostly about giving you best practices, for posting needs, for mobilizing your members to serve, for knowing what to use on your dashboard. And I also gave you a lot of website examples for, sharing needs on your website. All of that, is available. And I'll send a recording of this webinar for you as well. All right, one thing I wanted to mention too, we have I guess now we can call it our annual holiday campaign that's happening. This is the second year we've done it. It's called Give an Eternal Gift. And you're going to be seeing this through our Meet the Need social media pages, maybe in a few emails that we send to the administrators. But it's a way that Meet the Need is reaching the individuals that have shown an interest in Meet the Need, not so much admins, although we would love for church admins and nonprofit admins to take advantage of this campaign too. But it's a way that individuals can go and snap a creative photo of them serving, of course, keeping in mind the the people that you're serving and not exploiting them in a picture, but snapping a photo of serving, posting that picture on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and then sharing the experience to encourage others to go and serve during the holiday season. Because it's what we want to focus on is not just giving gifts and material things, but giving an eternal gift. And so giving an act of service and sharing the hope of Christ that gives forever in the kingdom, instead of just a gift that may not be appreciated 2 weeks from then, and then encouraging others to do the same, and then doing the hashtag give an eternal gift for others to be able to join in that same campaign. And we encourage you to even share that experience with and challenge 3 other people to do the same, and keep that going through the holiday season. And hopefully, we're looking for a million different gifts of service during the Christmas holiday. If you want more, believe me, we have more. I've shared a lot today, but if you go to the training button on your website, not your website, on your Meet the Need dashboard, we have a training library with short video tutorials on anything you could possibly imagine doing through your Meet the Need dashboard. And those videos are there. We also have a frequently asked questions button where you can go in and type your question and get answers to those questions. And some of those even have videos to be able to go and watch. So take advantage of those two resources on your dashboard as an administrator. We also have other webinars. Today was about best practices, but we have webinars on events, case management, missions, city reaching, reporting, external focus, local missions. They're all about 45 minutes to an hour, those webinars are, and they're located in the help button. I've mentioned that help button a lot today. You want to go check out that help button. But the webinars are included in the help button under the Meet the Need webinars tab, and the webinars from the last 12 months are there where I've recorded them. All right. Our next user webinar, I could have swore I updated this date, is Tuesday, January 9th, not the 10th. Tuesday, January 9th at 1 p.m. Eastern. The topic is going to be maintaining an external focus. You can look for an evite and a link in our newsletter or our email communication. But go ahead and mark your calendars going into 2018 for every second Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, because that's when we have these webinars. They are recorded, and I do send out recordings. So if you can't make it, not a big deal. But they are every second Tuesday, and each month is a different topic. All right, I do see a question here from Everett. Everett says that, do you have any groups or cities currently doing an ongoing recurring serve day? Actually, yes, we do. We have a few organizations that do every second Saturday serve day. A lot of times churches do that to kind of get members involved, especially new people coming into the church. Excuse me, to get them involved in serving with local partners. So yes, you can do an event that's recurring. You can still use the event module. You would post those needs as recurring and put those on your website. But yes, we do have a few organizations doing recurring serve days, and that's good. You don't want the same people coming to those, because you want them to go and serve at the partners maybe that you're helping instead of coming to that serve day every month. But it's a great way to incorporate in new members from your church into introducing them to maybe activities that you have organized with each partner each month, or maybe focus on a different partner each month and just do one partner. But yes, you can do recurring serve days. So that's a great idea for mobilizing your members to serve as well. There's more. You can join with us on our website. We have a blog. Our founder and President Jim Morgan does a weekly blog mostly related to the church and mobilizing the church to serve in the community, with great best practices and resources in that blog. So definitely join the blog and you'll get weekly updates on that. We do send out not necessarily a monthly newsletter. We do it about maybe once every couple months with new features of Meet the Need, or case studies, power users, so that you can keep up to date with what's happening with your Meet the Need dashboard, as well as an administrator, and give you resources. We also have our recorded webinars I mentioned earlier. And then if you join us on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and LinkedIn, we are active in all of those, and Instagram. So feel free to join us on any of those, and you'll be sure to get updates frequently to know what's happening with Meet the Need. Here's two of your member service representatives. Here's myself, Tanya Nichols, and my information. There's also Maurice Jackson. Typically, I service the organizations that are the kind of the mega churches and city reaching organizations or national organizations. Maurice is the expert on nonprofits and smaller churches. We both have worked in both fields, and currently either volunteer or work in churches or ministries. And so we know exactly where you're coming from and can look at it from your point of view as you're looking to use Meet the Need and help bridge the gap between the two of those. Of course, if you don't know which one of us is your member service representative, you can always contact our general information and we'll be sure to point you to the right person. I want to thank you for joining me for the webinar today. And if you have any questions beyond, if something else comes up, feel free to contact us directly and look for the recording of the webinar through an email probably tomorrow or the next day. But hope you have a blessed day and a blessed Christmas or Christmas. And let us know if you need any help as you're progressing and getting closer to those. Talk to you soon.